So now I'm going to take you behind the scenes for a look at what you see as the host on the host screen. So starting on the bottom left corner, this is the button to mute or unmute myself. Let's say someone walked in on me unexpectedly and like a little screaming child, and I needed to mute myself suddenly, I could do that. Also, there's a toggle switch right next to the mute button. If you click on that, you will see options. If you have more than one microphone, for instance, if you have plugged in an external mic, you would be able to decide which mic, which speaker you want to use. And there's even a test speaker option. So it's asking me if I hear the ringtone. Yes, I did. And now it's asking me to speak and pause. Do I hear the replay? Yes. And now it's telling me that both my speaker and my microphone are connected well, so I can just finish that. Also, you've got video settings in here. Lots of options there if you want to fine tune anything. Your audio, your chat, virtual background, all those goodies are in there. Virtual background is very cool. Right now I'm using none, but if I were to turn one on, it will look like this. It works great with a solid color or a green screen. I've ordered a green screen, but it won't be here for quite some time. But I noticed that I had some apple green sheets, and that's close. So it would also help if I had a little more light. So if you're using the greens, the virtual backgrounds, you want to make sure you have plenty of light on your face. And then that helps with keeping you from running into the background. You need to be well lit. So there are three generic ones that they provide, but you also have the option of uploading your own. So this is just the graphic from this workshop, but they do give you the recommended sizes so that you can size it properly. And you can also use Canva to create that. There are templates in Canva for creating your virtual background. Let's see here. And this is also the options to stop or stop your video, which you also have that option right on your panel. Now here is the invite button. I'm going to go ahead and turn this light off so it doesn't interfere with the video. And here's the invitation button. The simple thing to do is to just grab the URL, which is just the code to get in. But if you want a full invitation, you can copy that there onto your clipboard and paste it into another document, or you could just open up your email client. And Zoom will automatically populate in the invitation message. All you need to do is put in who you're sending it to. And of course, it's up to you if you wish to change the subject line in your email. You can totally edit that. And this link right here is all you really need to join a meeting if you're trying to get someone in quickly. And it is basically just zoom.us and your meeting room number. This is your meeting ID. You see that just added to the end of the Zoom US. So if you've got a user who's familiar with the platform, as long as you give them the meeting ID, they can just use the join meeting option and be right in there. So we're going to go back in here. The next thing is manage participants. And that allows you to see everyone who is logged in. You have the option to unmute someone here if you wish to unmute them. Or if they're already unmuted, you can mute them. And the more button is here. For each person, I could ask that person to start their camera. I could make them a host. I could give them privileges to record the video. And I could also rename them on there. I could give them a new screen name. Down here are some reactions. If I wanted to silently let people know what I'm thinking, I could click yes. And if you open your participant window, you would see these responses. So if you wanted to have a nonverbal meeting, and not have to use sign language, you can use these. You could tell the speaker to go slower. You could tell them to go faster. And then there's a more button up here. You can do thumbs up, thumbs down. You can applaud. You can indicate that you need a break with this little coffee cup, and also that you are away from your screen. And then, of course, you can clear all of that out. Down here under more, you have some options to mute any participants coming in on entry. You can choose whether or not your meeting attendees can have the ability to unmute themselves, or if you want to retain that power for yourself, you would unclick that. And you can allow participants to rename themselves, or you can take that away. You can also determine if they hear a chime, if you hear a chime when they enter the room. The lock meeting is an option if you don't want someone to accidentally come in. Let's say you have selected a private personal ID room number and you use it all the time, and you've got several meetings scheduled that day. You don't want someone to just bounce in on you. If you lock the door, no one can come in without invitation. This is also helpful. The ability to lock the meeting is also helpful because sometimes when you send an invitation out, people click on it and then they end up in your Zoom room. And you'll know that happened because Zoom will give you an email that says your meeting attendees are waiting. And your meeting may not be tomorrow, but because they've got the link, they went and checked. If it's a room that you use over and over again, they might bounce into a meeting in progress. So lock the door if you use your personal ID number all the time. So the next option here is choosing who can share and who cannot. And that's right next to the share button. So you can have one participant share at a time, or you can allow multiple participants to share simultaneously. And then you've got some advanced share options in here. And you can decide who can share, if it's only you as the host or if you want all participants to be able to share. And you can also determine who can share while someone else is sharing, whether that is retained only by you or if all participants can do multiple shares at once. Now, in this participant window, if you choose to leave it open, you can drag it out of your way, or we're done with it. We can just close it, and any time we can grab it again by going down here to participants. So the share button is here. And not only can you share, you can decide what you want to share. You can, if you do share screen, it will show everything. But if you just want to show one app or one Google tab or one application like Photoshop, you can also select that. So if I do screen and then share, then it's going to show my entire desktop. If I want to do a different share, I stop share, go back in. And let's say this time I want to use Whiteboard. Whiteboard is a cool feature. And it's got all sorts of tools in here. You can type with it. You can release your inner Picasso. And you can change what colors you're painting with. There is a stamp tool in here. So if you want to put little arrows on things, little hearts, lots of options in there. You can spotlight if you want someone to look at something. And you can also erase what you did. And there's formatting in here too when you're typing. So if you want to do bold, you can control your font size, all the good things. You've got your undo, your redo. You've got your clear. And if you were allowing multiple people to draw on the board at the same time, that clear button also lets you determine whether you were clearing just your drawings, all the drawings on the board, or just your participants' drawings. So lots of cool features. Oh, you also have the option of saving that whiteboard illustration. So I'm going to stop the share and slide over here to the chat button. Now in chat, you could type a message to everyone, but there's a toggle switch here. And if you only wanted to communicate with one person, you could select just that person. That message would be private between the two of you and would not be recorded in the transcript from the meeting. And of course, there's a little more button over here. And you can decide who attendees can chat with. If you can totally disable the chat, you can allow them to only communicate with you. You can allow them to communicate with everyone publicly, and you can also allow them to chat with publicly and privately. So you've got complete control of your chat room. This is the record button if you wanted to record your session, and we've already covered the break room. So that is your tour of the host panel.